Okay, good afternoon and welcome to our meeting of the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District for the 1-hour ozone maintenance plan. The meeting is being held in person and telecast between our Fresno, Modesto, and Bakersfield offices and via Zoom. My name is Emily Nealand and I'm the program manager of our air quality planning team here at the district. And I'm joined by Selena Chavez, air quality specialist, and Robert Gillis, program manager of our air quality science team. We will do our best to facilitate a smooth meeting with public participation in person and via Zoom. Before we begin, here are some important guidelines and general instructions for the meeting. Please silence your other communication devices, such as your cell phone. During the meeting, all public participants on Zoom will be placed on mute by the host. Public members will not be able to mute or unmute manually. If you'd like to provide public comment during the comment period of this workshop, please step up to the podium to signify that you wish to speak or raise your hand on Zoom. Audio for members of the public will be unmuted once they are recognized to make a public comment. You can also submit comments or questions to our webcast at valleyair.org email or via the Q&A function on Zoom, which will be addressed after the verbal public comment. If you are presenting or providing a public comment, please state your name and affiliation and speak slowly to allow for smooth translation. At this time, our translators will share instructions on how to access the translation services.
Muy buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos a la Junta. Tendremos interpretación disponible en español. Para poder acceder a la interpretación, si usted está utilizando una computadora, buscará el icono de un mundo que aparece abajo de su pantalla que diga interpretación. Seleccionarán español y los invitamos a silenciar el audio original. Si están utilizando un teléfono o una tableta, el proceso será diferente. Buscarán los 3 puntos en su pantalla que digan More o Más. Deslizarán hacia arriba en el menú de opciones hacia donde dice Interpretación de lenguajes. Después seleccionarán Español, una vez más silenciar el audio original al seleccionar la casilla que aparece y cuando han acabado arriba de la pantalla habrá un botón que diga Listo, Done o Finalizar. Selecciónenlo para poder escuchar en español. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. So now we'll go ahead and get started. So the Valley's air quality challenges in meeting the federal air quality standards are unmatched due to a combination of our unique topography and meteorology here in the Valley. We're faced with a variety of challenges, including our role as a major goods movement corridor, high population growth, pollution transport from other areas, as well as other factors such as wildfires and drought. These conditions require that the district achieve much greater emission reductions here in the San Joaquin Valley in order to meet our clean air targets in comparison to other regions. Ozone is formed through the reaction of NOx and VOCs in the presence of heat and sunlight. And NOx comes from combustion, primarily from mobile sources, and VOCs come from biogenic, consumer, stationary, and mobile sources. The Valley experiences the highest ozone in the summer, with the peaks in the middle of the day. So ozone can have a number of impacts on public health, specifically for people with asthma, children, older adults, and outdoor workers. And this causes coughing, throat irritation, pain, burning, or discomfort in the chest tightness, or shortness of breath. And it also significantly impacts lung function, as well as aggravates existing respiratory conditions such as asthma and COPD. And this can lead to increased medication use, emergency visits, and hospital admissions. So due to the public health impacts of ozone, the district has made a number of efforts to reduce emissions for not only 1-hour ozone, but also 8-hour ozone. There's a number of federal air quality standards related to ozone, including the 1979 1-hour ozone standard of 124 parts per billion. For this standard, the district put together an attainment plan in 2013, which outlined our strategies for attainment. And due to the strategies in this plan, as well as other efforts from the district, we're the first and only region in the nation to be designated as extreme non-attainment to then go on to attain that standard. There's also a number of standards for 8-hour ozone, specifically the 1997 2008, and 2015 standards. And the district has adopted a number of plans related to these standards, which include our strategies for attainment. And we are on track to attain each of these standards by their respective attainment deadlines. So specifically for 8-hour ozone, the graph here on the slide shows our continued progress. And as you can see, we're very close to attaining the 1997 standard, and we're on track to attain by the 2023 deadline. And we're also continuing to make progress toward attainment of the 2008 and the 2015 ozone standards, which are set at 75 parts per billion and 70 parts per billion. So specifically for the 1979 1-hour ozone standard, which is what we're here to talk about today, as I mentioned, we were designated as extreme non-attainment originally for this standard, which is now revoked. And we did attain the standard based on air quality data back in 2016. And in order to be designated as attainment, the district submitted a number of attainment determination requests based on data from 2011 to 2013. And the second submittal from the district included data from 2012 through 2014. And it was this second submittal that EPA took action on to approve and determine that the valley was in attainment of the 1-hour ozone standard based on sufficient, quality assured, and certified data for that 2012 through 2014 period. And we continue to be in attainment of this standard based on our latest monitoring values. And that's why we're here today to kick off the public process for our maintenance plan and redesignation request. So to that point, we're currently developing the maintenance plan and redesignation request in order to be reclassified to attainment. And EPA approval of this package would terminate Clean Air Act Section 185 fees that are currently in place for this standard. So here on the slide, you can see a graph that depicts our significant decrease in 1-hour ozone exceedances since 1980. And you can see in recent years, this is when we met attainment, if you see that 2014 mark, and specifically in recent years, we've continued to maintain that standard. So now I'll pass it over to Selena Chavez to get into the different requirements to be redesignated.
Thank you, Emily. So there are 5 conditions that an area must meet under Section 107D3E of the Clean Air Act in order to be redesignated to attainment. First, EPA must determine that the applicable National Ambient Air Quality Standard, or NAAQS, has been attained, in this case, the 1-hour ozone standard. As previously mentioned, EPA approved the district's clean data determination in 2016 for the period 2012 through 2014. The district will also be providing additional monitoring data to demonstrate continued attainment of the standard. Second, EPA has fully approved the applicable implementation plan under Section 100K of the Clean Air Act. The district has met this condition through its submittal of the 2013 ozone plan. Third, EPA has determined that the improvement in air quality is due to permanent and enforceable emission reductions. The district will also be including a section to address this condition by demonstrating that attainment was not a result from temporary emission reductions or unusual favorable meteorology. Fourth, the state has met all applicable requirements for the area under Section 110 and Part D. The district has met this condition with the approved 2013 ozone plan. Lastly, EPA has fully approved a maintenance plan, including a contingency plan for the area under Section 175A of the Clean Air Act. As part of Section 175A of the Clean Air Act, there are core provisions that must be included in order to demonstrate attainment and to be redesignated to attainment. To demonstrate maintenance and to be redesignated to attainment. The provisions include an attainment inventory, a maintenance demonstration, a section on air monitoring network, verification of continued attainment, and a contingency plan. So the first provision in the maintenance plan is the attainment inventory. The attainment emissions inventory developed is used to identify level of emissions in the area which are sufficient to attain the 1-hour ozone standard. The inventory should be consistent with EPA's most recent guidance on emission inventories for non-attainment areas and should include the emissions during the time period associated with the monitoring data showing attainment. The district is also working closely with CARB and EPA on the inventory years to be included in the plan, consistent with requirements mentioned. Another provision included in the maintenance plan is the maintenance demonstration. The maintenance demonstration must show that future emissions will not exceed the level of the established attainment inventory, and this is done by projecting emissions for a 10-year period. The projected inventory should consider future growth and should be consistent with the attainment inventory. In order to demonstrate maintenance of the 1-hour ozone standard, the projected inventory will show that precursors to ozone, such as VOCs and NOx, will not exceed the level of the attainment inventory. Maintenance of the standard must also show that emission rate projections are based on permanent and enforceable reductions. Additionally, the maintenance plan must demonstrate that the district will continue to operate air quality monitoring networks to verify attainment status of the area. The district has ozone monitors placed in areas with high population densities, high pollutant concentrations that are impacted by major pollutant sources, and representative of background concentrations. The district, CARB, and National Park Service currently operate 25 ozone monitoring sites throughout the valley. The district operates a network of air quality monitors throughout Valley to support its mission of improving and protecting public health, and will continue to do so. Also included in the maintenance plan is the district's verification of continued attainment. As mentioned, the district will continue ozone monitoring to verify ongoing attainment of the 1-hour ozone standard. The district will continue to develop and make available its annual air monitoring network plan document, including the following: the details of ozone air monitoring network, a summary of previous year's peak ozone concentrations to track progress and ensure compliance with monitoring requirements. The district also submitted the 2022 Air Monitoring Network Plan to EPA on October 11, 2022. Finally, a maintenance plan must include contingency provisions as necessary to promptly correct any violation of the NAAQS that occurs after redesignation. Maintenance plan contingencies should include specific triggers that will be used to determine when the contingency measure needs to be implemented, a specific time limit for state action, a schedule and procedure for adoption and implementation, and measures to be adopted. The contingency plan is set to include a commitment to evaluate emission opportunities for NOx rules and consider rule amendments where opportunity is identified, following a 1-hour ozone standard violation. So today we are holding our public workshop, and in the months to come, hopefully in the third quarter of 2023, we'll have our 30-day publication, as well as our governing board public hearing, and shortly after we'll submit the plan to EPA. As always, public participation and comment is invited throughout the process. And here is my contact information. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me or airqualityplanning@valleyair.org. And please feel free to sign up for our listserv for any future ozone plan updates. And with that, we will open it up to any comments or questions.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Selena, and thanks again for joining us here today. So as a quick reminder, if you would like to provide a public comment, you can raise your hand on Zoom, and I will call your name and allow you to unmute. And then you can also submit questions or comments through the Q&A function. And as Selena mentioned, we're also looking for public comment or suggestions if you'd like to submit those to her email or to our airqualityplanning@valleyair.org email. So I currently don't see any indication of public comment on Zoom or through the Q&A. Let me go ahead and double check our webcast@valleyair.org email. Looks like there are no public comments that we received through there. So with that, we will go ahead and conclude the public workshop. Again, please feel free to reach out to Selena via the contact information on the slide, and the slides are available on our website on our upcoming public workshops webpage. Thank you.